have a good idea of what you would like your culture statement and your mission statement to be, because that's really what's going to set up the environment for your salon. And if you don't have a clear idea of that, it's going to be really hard for you to have a clear vision of where you want your business to go.
Hello and welcome to the Elevate podcast. I'm your host, Patricia Nowakowski. I'm a salon owner, educator, and mindset coach that helps hairstylists and salon owners go from overwhelmed and burnt out to motivated and empowered. It is my mission to help you systemize your business, generate more profit, and create a career behind the chair that you love. Join us every week to learn about small shifts you can make to elevate your business regarding mindset, marketing, social media, business systems, and so much more.
Today on our podcast, we have Kristie Broadway. Kristie, do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself and let people know who you are and where they can find you?
My name is Kristie. I am a hairstylist and salon owner. I own ALTER'D MANE SALON in Cedar Lake, Indiana. That's Northwest Indiana. I have been a salon owner for about a year and a half now.
And the reason why I wanted to interview you today is because you literally have created such a fast track for success for your career. You have been doing hair for how long?
I have been doing hair since 2016.
Yeah. So you literally started off at a commission salon and then in that time period have opened your own salon, and you're very successful and you've been open for about a year and a half. And I kind of wanted to touch base today and get some tangible things that you can share to help other people, one, really fast track their success, and two, some things that you want to share or some things that you can share to help people grow their salons or possibly give them some ideas on how to open their own salon. So starting off in the beginning of your career, you started off at a commission salon and you actually grew your business very, very quickly behind the chair. What are a few tangible things that you can share that you felt really helped build your business and really helped you really grow your clientele?
Yeah. So I feel like when I was in beauty school, Instagram was kind of just coming up to be a thing. And I had no idea what it was, really how to use it properly in like a business aspect. It was kind of just everybody went there to just post their pictures and wanted to show what they were doing or what they were up to. So that was one thing that actually helped me a lot build my clientele coming out of beauty school and going into a commission salon, trying to build my book. So any person that I was getting in my chair, any kind of service, I always wanted to take before and after pictures, even if it was the smallest thing that I was doing on them. I always was taking before and after pictures to post on my social media. And at the time I was doing both makeup and hair services. So I was doing both things on my social media. That was one thing that I utilized a lot was my Instagram. That's actually how I built my entire clientele. I was getting, referrals from people showing their friends my Instagram and showing their pictures on my Instagram and them wanting to also get their hair done. So I would say like Instagram and social media is a huge supporting factor of building your brand as a stylist and building your clientele. That would be one of the biggest things I think that every stylist should really utilize. And it's not going away. It's only going to keep evolving from there as well. And I think that if you're wanting to fast track your career of building and you have goals for yourself, that it could be, opening a salon suite or it could be opening a salon. I think that really getting that niche down of what do you want your social media to look like? What kind of clients do you want to have in your chair? Like, do you want to specialize in anything? And just kind of really getting specific about what you want your social media to look like to advertise yourself. And the quicker that you do that, the quicker you're going to see the results of what you're wanting to get out of your career.
I think building a business very quickly is important to give you the confidence to open your own space. So that's kind of why I wanted to start here. Another thing that I wanted to touch base on, and something that you really do excel at, is the client experience and customer service. And I feel like that's another thing that really helped you grow your business. So what would you say your top 3 tips are for the client experience and the things that really helped you grow your business in that way?
I would say when it comes to client experience, that is something that I take a lot of pride in. I think that it goes hand in hand with your brand. And I think that it really helps with your reputation as well. I would say some tips that are useful is really getting down your pre-appointment regimen that you do with your clients, whether that be, a guest intake form or a pre-consultation form that you manually send to them or you automatically have fill out at the time of them booking online with you, and having the questions down of what do you need to know in order to best prepare for their service with you. And that is one of the biggest things that's going to set you up for success. And also having a really great consultation in person is going to help you also set you up for success for the reservation. So by taking what you're getting from them at the pre-consultation, you can even put things in what's your favorite drink, or out of all of the drinks that we offer at our salon, which one would you prefer, and have that waiting for them when they come into the salon at the time of their consultation. Having the consultation is a really important thing to have set up, because it's going to give you the base information that you need in order to execute someone's goal, or set them up for a hair plan, so that you know what you're talking about and that you're credible in what you're doing. And another thing too would be the post appointment follow-up is, how are you taking care of your guests after they leave your chair? Because obviously you're not going home with them. You have to make sure that they are still taking care of their hair properly. They're following your recommendations. They're happy with their investment that they made with you. So whether that be reaching out with them maybe 3 to 7 days after the reservation with you, and just checking in and saying hey, how is that new color looking? How do you like that new face framing we did? And just seeing how they feel and giving them the opportunity to share how they're feeling with you, because some guests might not be willing to reach out on their own if they're not happy about something. And that just shows your guests as well that you truly do take value in everything that you do, and you really do take yourself seriously, and they respect that you are taking the time to reach out to ensure that they're still loving their investment.
One of the things that I always talk about is really attention to detail. And I think one of the most important things when it comes to attention to detail is the way that you speak to your clients. And one of the things that I really notice is the way that you speak as a professional. You speak in a way that you are very conscious of the verbiage that you use. Instead of, hair appointment, you say reservation. Instead of what they spent on the service, you say investments. Those are all things that make a huge impact on the way your client sees you. And it really does make a huge impact on the client experience as a whole too. And I think that's something that's usually overlooked as well. So I think the way and the dialogue that you use is very, very important. So you worked at a commission salon. How long were you at your commission salon for? Just so we can kind of give people a timeline.
I would probably say I was at my commission salon for, I believe it was somewhere 7 or 8 months before I had gone off and opened my salon suite, my very first salon suite. I actually opened it with my best friend, and it was so scary. I was so terrified. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on my own. It was a really cool, but yet scary feeling when I first was having my first day in my salon suite. And if I didn't take that leap of faith and take that risk, I don't know where I would be as a stylist today.
What was the deciding factor, and what was that push that made you take that risk? How did you know it was time and you were ready?
I think it was just that my clientele had grown so much in such a short amount of time. And I just felt like I wanted more out of my career. I wanted to I loved the aspect of being a stylist and doing hair and building my clientele and having relationships with my guests, but I wanted to have that feeling of what is it like to own my own business, because I've always had that thought as a younger kid. I have always wanted to own my own business one day. I didn't know like what kind of business that would be, but yeah, I think that I was wanting more out of my career and I just wanted to keep moving forward. I didn't really have a set path at the time. I just knew that this is something that I need to do in order to keep progressing in my career and just not have any limits. That was one thing. I just wanted to be limitless.
I love that mindset, especially, so many stylists struggle with building a clientele, period. And you built your clientele in 6 to 7 months and took the next step and opened a salon suite, which is so powerful. Like that is so powerful. And that shows your determination. And it really shows your level of skill and your level of business, because I do think it takes strategy to build a clientele. A clientele does not happen by accident. And a salon owner is not going to fill your books. Did your salon owner fill your books?
No.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. You have to take responsibility. And I love that you also use the word personal responsibility. You took personal responsibility to really take action to create the outcome you wanted for your business. And I think that is the mindset you have to have when you truly want to fast track your success. So you were in your commission salon 6, 7 months. You leaped to a salon suite. That was your first suite. You then opened a salon suite on your own, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then how long were you in your salon suites for?
So the salon suite that I opened with my friend, we both quickly outgrew that space tremendously. We both just built our clientele so fast that we were basically on top of each other. It was like this small room that we had, and it was a great space to work in. I'm so grateful for the space that I got to work in with my friend, and we just quickly outgrew it. And I just knew, I was like, I can't grow anymore in this space. I have to, move on and do, something on my own. And that space that I was in, the suite that I was sharing, I believe I was in there for about a year. And then I went off and I did my own salon suite where I had my own space completely. It was just one chair in there and one shampoo bowl. And I believe I was in that space for about 2 years. And then that was when I decided, I believe it was about at a year that I decided I wanted to open a storefront salon and have a team and build a commission salon. So it was it's weird that it's like the year mark is like where I start to get the itch of something. So that was the amount of time that I was in my suites for.
So you knew that you wanted to open your own salon. What was the shift in mindset for you that was like, okay, I want my own space? Like, what was the trigger for that? What made you decide to be like, okay, I'm ready for a salon now? Like most people would be like, okay, this salon suite is great. Like a salon is so much bigger and it's such a bigger responsibility. So what was that shift in mindset that you were like, okay, I want my own salon? Like, what was that for you?
I would say when I decided that I wanted to have a commission salon and open an actual storefront and have a team, is as much as I loved working in my salon suite and having my own space and having, the freedom of my own schedule and the freedom to choose the services that I wanted to offer and, set my own pricing. I loved all of that, but there was something missing, and I was missing the team aspect. I love working around other people. I love collaborating with other people. That was something that I was really, really missing. And I told myself that, like, how can I have the same freedom that I do in a salon suite, but also be surrounded by a team? And that was when I kind of came up with the idea of creating my commission salon, because everybody wants to have freedom in their careers and they want to have limitless opportunities. But sometimes some people don't want to have all of the responsibility of overhead expenses, inventory, and taxes, and all these other things. So why can't I create a space where stylists have the freedom to do the things as far as creating their own schedule, creating their own pricing, creating their own, menu of services that they want to offer, and have basically, as the owner, take care of all of the overhead expenses and create just like a amazing community and culture to be in. So that was, I think, the deciding factor. Like, I wanted more, but I wanted to still have that freedom and also give my team that freedom. And also too, I just really have always had a passion for sharing my knowledge with others, whether it be about business or whether it be about, hair. I've always really loved sharing knowledge with stylists who may be in the industry less than me or even more than me. And I love learning from other hairstylists in the industry. And so that was something that I wanted to do, is I wanted to give back to the industry and kind of dive more into mentoring and education. And so that was what basically drove me to opening a commission salon.
I love that. And this is an even bigger risk. You decided you wanted to open a commission salon and you did it in an entirely different state.
Yes,
so you had your clientele built in Illinois, which you opened in Indiana, which isn't too far, but that's still a kind of a drive and kind of a risk to see if your clients would follow. So what was your deciding factor, one, to open up in a different state? And what did you do to make sure that your clients were going to follow you?
So the deciding factor of opening my salon in another state was I actually moved to Indiana. So I saw that there was an opportunity here that I didn't want to pass up. And that's, the direction that I went. And you're right, like the salon is not too far from where my original salon suite was located. And I knew obviously not all of my clientele was going to be able to follow me on my journey. And I'm so grateful for my clientele, because over the years that I have relocated, I have had such a huge support from my clientele. And I just can't be more grateful for that. When it came down to relocating, I really made sure that I had a plan set in place for guests that wouldn't be following me to my new location. And that is basically recommending them to other stylists that are in my previous area, that I think would be a great fit for them. And just like making sure that like I, as a stylist, am still supporting them and not basically leaving them high and dry. Like, okay, see you, I'm moving.
I have one question. Since you are, I don't want to say newer in the industry, because I feel like with the amount of work that you've put into your career, the amount of work that you put into your, like actually growing your business, the amount of work that you put into your personal growth, I don't necessarily think it's the time that you've been in the industry, like the amount of time. I feel like it's the amount of effort you put in that really creates your experience and your success. And I feel like you are the type of person, like you have like doubled the amount of like effort that most people normally do. So with that being said, you are a younger salon owner with 6 years in the industry. How do you feel like that affects your mindset, and how do you work through that? Because I know personally for me, like when I opened my salon, I was younger and I kind of suffered with imposter syndrome and felt like maybe I shouldn't have a salon. So for somebody who is suffering with that stuff right now, who feels that they can't do it because they haven't been in the industry long enough, or they feel like they don't have the, amount of experience that they need, how would you give that, or what advice would you give them to help them push through that?
I think that it's a normal thing to feel the imposter syndrome. I know that I have definitely felt that for a good portion of my career, even when I was just a hairstylist to now becoming a salon owner. And I still to this day get some imposter syndrome. So like, I'm not perfect and I'm not saying that I have officially like squashed it, but I think that the best advice that I could give is reminding yourself how much work you have already put in to get yourself to where you are. And you have to also look at, if it comes down to the imposter syndrome that you're having, if like you feel like you're comparing yourself to other people, you have to remember that if you're not in the same place as someone else, just remember they may have been working on where they are right now for 10 plus years, 15 years, or even longer. Everybody has their different paths. And everybody has different time frames of how they get to where they want to be. And everybody's story is different. So I think that focusing on where you currently are and looking back on how far you have come and what you have done to get yourself to where you are is enough validation that you deserve to be where you are.
Perfect. Now let's get into the good stuff and talk about where you feel you find success and how you find success in being a salon owner.
I would say, when I look at success, it's when I see my team succeed, when a lot of my team members have, built their clientele from when they started with me, and just seeing my team grow over the time that our salon has been open has really shown me like that is success to me, is seeing my team take their starting point and how much they have grown their clientele by putting in the work and guiding them along the way. That I know that I'm doing my part as far as supporting my team. And that would be my form of success, just because I love seeing other people succeed and I love helping in any way that I can. And just seeing also the culture in our salon, it's just, I can't even describe it. Like, I just love the fact that we are so supportive of one another and always willing to help. And that was one thing that I really wanted to make sure it was a non-negotiable when it came to opening my salon, is the support in the community over competition is something that I always want to be a number one priority in my salon. And just seeing how much we have that is just means so much to me. And I feel like that is in a way that I have been successful with that. And when it comes to staying on track in my business, I think that was one thing that was a little overwhelming to me at first when I first opened my salon, is, having all the hats that you have to wear as a salon owner. You're not just a hairstylist anymore. You're a mentor. You're, in charge of your team. You have to know how to manage your team. You also still have to manage your own clientele, as well as you have to support your team with their clientele. You also have to be responsible for overhead costs, taxes, all these things. So there's definitely a point where I definitely was like, oh my gosh, I need to come up with some kind of system or some kind of schedule to track and manage all of this. So I have definitely set boundaries in place, as far as, when I answer messages from guests. I also have put in boundaries with my team as well. When we message each other in regards to work-related things, we only strictly go through a app that we all communicate through. We're not texting each other's personal phones. So I think that setting boundaries in place has definitely been a huge factor for me as far as being successful. And I think also, like, having a coach is one huge thing that has helped me with being on track. And that would be one thing that I would recommend any salon owner to do, is to hire a coach for sure, because you as an owner also need a mentor. It's not just you as the salon owner are the mentor to your team. Like, you need a mentor as well. And the first year of being in business is so much, because you have all of these things that you're learning and you're trying to juggle, like, how do I go about this, or how do I implement this, or how do I come up with a system for this? And building systems was a huge thing for me, because I didn't want this to be unorganized or anything. So, having you as my coach, Patricia, that helped me so much with building systems. And it's nice because all of the systems pretty much are automated. So my team knows exactly what they need to do. They know where to go if they need to refer to something. And it just helps me have peace of mind knowing that if I'm not in my business physically, that my team knows what to do and they feel comfortable moving forward with what needs to be done or the procedures in place for that. And I think too, with having a business coach, it really does help with having a support system, not only just like from your coach, but I think specifically for our group that we have within Destroy the Hairdresser, is we have a support group with all of the students within the group that you coach. And I think it's great because we always, we'll ask questions about what others are doing within their business, or we'll share something that has worked well for us, or we'll just kind of talk or vent about, maybe something that is coming up in their business and they just need support or they just need advice. And I think that that's a really important thing to have when it comes to being a salon owner, because it's a lot being a salon owner. I mean, I'm so grateful. I wouldn't change the world for it, but it's a lot. And we do need to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success, because if we're not, setting ourselves up for success, how can we support our team?
Yeah, I think one of the things we talk about at DTH is continually growing your vessel so that your vessel is always the largest, so you can continue to grow your team's vessel. And I think with being in the community of like-minded salon owners that are literally going through the same struggles as you or have been through the same struggles and can help you also push through or support you or even give you guidance, there's no price that you can put on that, no price tag you can put on that, because salon ownership can be very lonely. It's a very competitive business, and a lot of salon owners won't actually collaborate with you because they look at you as competition, which is something that we're trying to change. But having that support and really having that group to lean on is something that when I went through coaching was life-changing. So I love that. Is there anything else you want to add or share about being a salon owner that you think would be beneficial to the people listening, or, anything that you want to add that could help somebody in the future?
I would say if you're a stylist that is considering opening a salon, whether it be commission or it be rental, however you want to set up your business model, I would say have a good idea of what you would like your culture statement and your mission statement to be, because that's really what's going to set up the environment for your salon. And if you don't have a clear idea of that, it's going to be really hard for you to have a clear vision of where you want your business to go. And also, with that being said, I think that it's super important to understand, knowing that you're going to take on the role as being a salon owner or a leader, is having the mindset of a leader. Like I said before, you're no longer just a stylist. You are now coming into the role of so many other hats that you're going to be wearing, and you have to make sure and ask yourself, am I prepared to take on this role? And it's something that you have to make sure that you are 100% invested in doing, because anybody is capable of opening a salon. It just comes down to, if you want to have a successful salon, that has to be built with intention, and you have to take personal responsibility as the owner of the salon to learn the ins and outs of your business, and to also educate yourself on how to manage and mentor your team to the best of your abilities to create success for not only yourself, but your team as well. And having the mindset of wanting to see everybody within your business succeed is something that's super important.
I love that. Thank you so much for being on today's podcast. And again, where can people find you? Because I know you are also getting into education and you're going to start really launching that very soon. So where can people find you and how can they contact you?
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me on this podcast. I am so grateful for this. You guys can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is beautyby_Kristie. That's spelled with a K and it ends in IE. And yes, I am going to be dabbling into education. I am so excited for it. And that's something that we've been talking about a lot lately, Patricia. So I'm so excited that I'm finally launching that.
I'm excited too. I can't wait to see it. And actually, like, every time like you post a reel, I'm always seeing it in other people's stories. So like the content that you put out is so valuable. And I know like everyone loves sharing it because it is so valuable. So I can't wait to see what transpires in the future.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.